In 2006, I was part of a team that built one of India's first prepaid card systems. I worked with 22 different user types, 16 different card variants, so includes gift cards, travel cards, fleet card. So almost every major bank in India was a client. So and then we helped to pitch in an Australian-based bank, helped to close with a $330 million deal. So I say this is not to impress you, but to give you the context for what I am about to say. So in all of that work, across the hundreds of design decisions, the designers who were irreplaceable, who couldn't be swapped out, whose work actually moved the needle. So they had something very specific in common. So it wasn't their Figma skills, it wasn't even their research ability, it was how they thought about problems. Hi, I am Rambal. I have trained over 4,600 plus UX designers through Aspira Design School. And right now in 2026, the design job market is sorting itself into two groups. Designers who are struggling to get hired and designers who have more opportunities than they can handle. So the difference comes down to which type of a designer you are. So there are three types who will dominate the next 5 years. So let me tell you who they are and more importantly, how to become one. So why this matters right now. Let me be direct about what is happening in the market. So AI tools are getting better every month. So junior designer tasks, so basic wireframing, layout work, UI pattern replication. So these are being compressed. So companies are doing more with smaller design teams. So I have watched this happen in a real time. So some of my students are getting hired faster than ever. So others are struggling more than students 3 years ago struggled. Same training, same market, different outcomes. So, and when I studied why, the answer was consistent. The students thriving are not the ones who learned more tools, they are the ones who positioned themselves as a specific high value type of a designer. So the three types I am about to describe are not job titles, they are thinking styles. And the good news is any of them can be developed deliberately. So here they are. So the first type is what I call the systems thinker. So when I was building the prepaid card platform, so we had 16 different card types, 22 user groups, and every single flow had to work consistently across all of them. So one decision in the gift card flow affected the fleet card flow 3 screens later. So a designer who only thinks screen by screen, they would have broken something every single week. So the systems thinker doesn't just design a screen. They design how screens talk to each other, how components scale. So how a design decisions made today affects 40 other places in the product on tomorrow. So this is why companies building at scale, fintechs, enterprise SaaS, health tech. So they are specifically hunting for this type of designers right now. So now let me break down what that actually means in the practical terms. A system thinker doesn't think in isolated screens, they think in components. When they design a button, they don't just design it for one page. They ask, where else will this appear? What states will it have? How does it behave across the product? So before finalizing anything, they ask themselves, if this changes, what else breaks? So that single question saves the companies weeks of rework. So they build the design systems, not just designs. So even in a small project, they define the patterns, spacing rules, interaction logic. So they think about scalability early. So they document their decisions. So not because it looks professional, but because other designers, developers, and product managers need to understand the logic behind the choices. And most importantly, they see the patterns across the journeys. So they connect the onboarding, dashboard, settings, notifications as one ecosystem. So how do you develop this? So next time you work on a project, map every component that you create. So then deliberately look for the repetitions. So try building a mini design system even for a personal project. Buttons, forms, typography rules, interaction states. So study how large companies like a Swiggy, PhonePe, or Zepto maintain the consistency across hundreds of screens. So that consistency doesn't happen accidentally. And in your portfolio, show one project where you connected multiple flows into a system, not just the most beautiful screen. The moment you catch yourself saying, wait, if we change this here, it affects that flow there. So that is called systems thinking. So that thinking is worth more than any tool skill. At Aspira, we teach the students to think like a systems from week 3. So not because it is trendy, because every real product is a system. And companies don't want someone who can design one beautiful screen. They want someone who can hold the entire product together visually. Type 2, the business aware designer. So the second type is rarer and honestly more valuable than almost anyone admits. So here is a moment from my agency years that I think about often. So we were working with a funded startup on their core product flow. So the design team had built something beautiful, genuinely impressive. The user testing was positive. But when we presented it to the founders, one question shut down the entire room. How does this design help us hit our Q2 retention target? Nobody had an answer because nobody had asked that question before picking up Figma. A business aware designer thinks differently. So before starting a project, they ask, what metric are we trying to move? Is it activation, retention, revenue, referral, churn? So they understand that every design decision is also a business decision. They don't just say this improves usability. So they say this reduces the drop off in onboarding. So which directly improves the activation. So they can translate the design into business language. So they ask the product managers, what is the company trying to achieve this quarter? So in every project, they identify one or two metrics that design is meant to influence. And when presenting the work, they lead with the impact, not the process. So there is a huge difference between saying, I redesigned the onboarding flow and saying that I redesigned the onboarding and activation improved by 22% in the following month. Same project, different positioning. So one gets you hired, one gets you politely rejected. So to build this skill, learn the core product metrics deeply. So in every portfolio project, clearly state which metric you aimed to influence. So write a short design brief that starts with a business goal, not a UI problem. So this shift alone changes how interviewers seeing you. So I will be honest, this is what I wish I had taught more explicitly in Aspira's early years. So we taught great UX, we taught research, we taught visual craft, but business thinking, so we added that deliberately only after watching too many students struggle to explain their own values in interviews. Now it's core to what we teach, and the students who genuinely internalized it, so they get hired faster, promoted faster, and trusted earlier. Type 3, the AI augmented designer. The third type is the one everyone is talking about, but most people are getting it wrong. The AI augmented designer. Notice I didn't say AI designer. I didn't say designer who uses AI tools. I said augmented. So there is a specific reason for that word. I see two kinds of designers engaging with AI right now. The first kind uses AI to do design tasks faster. So generate a layout, create some icons, write a micro copy, speed up the production. That is fine. That is useful. but it is not what will make you irreplaceable. The second kind uses the AI to think better, research faster, and expand what is possible in a project while keeping their own design judgment at the center. So, that second kind, companies are actively looking for them and there aren't enough of them. So, an AI augmented designer uses AI strategically. They use it to synthesize the large research data sets quickly, finding the patterns in hours instead of days. So they generate multiple concept directions early in the process and then apply the human judgment to refine and select. They use AI to draft the UX copy, but they edit it with a strong human editorial eye. They use AI for accessibility checks, competitive analysis, content audits, but they also know where AI is not enough. So AI can generate the options. It cannot understand the context the way you can. So that mindset is simple. So AI is your junior team member. You direct it, you evaluate it, you make the final call. The moment you let AI make the design decisions for you, you have outsourced the only irreplaceable part of your job. To build this skill, pick 2 or 3 AI tools relevant to UX. Use them to accelerate one part of your workflow. So document how you used AI and more importantly, what decision you made based on its output. That becomes your portfolio story. A recruiter reading, I used AI to analyze 200 user responses in 2 hours and identified 6 core pain points that shaped the IA. So that signals speed plus judgment. At Aspira, we have built AI into our curriculum, not as a separate module, but woven into how we teach research, ideation, and testing. The goal is to teach designers who can work at the speed the market now requires. So without losing the judgment that makes the design valuable. The honest part. So now let me say something that might be uncomfortable. You don't need to become all 3 of these types. Not immediately, but you need to be at least one of them clearly, demonstrably, with the examples to prove it. Because here is what is happening to designers who are none of these 3. So they are being commoditized. So their work is being compared to AI output. Their job scope is shrinking and their salaries are stagnating. So this is not a fear mongering. I am watching it happen with the designers who came through Aspira 4 and 5 years ago and didn't keep evolving. And I am watching the opposite happen with the designers who leaned into one of these directions intentionally. So the market is not punishing the designers, it is sorting them. So the question is, where do you want to end up? All right. So the 3 types of UX designers who will dominate between the 2026 to 2030. 1. The system thinker. So designs how things connect, not just how they look. 2. The business aware designer. So translate the design decisions into business outcomes. 3. The AI augmented designer uses AI to work at a new speed with human judgment still in the driver's seat. Pick one, go deep on it. Make it visible in your portfolio and the way you talk about your work. If you are not sure which one fits you, drop a comment in below. So tell me where you are right now. So I will tell you which direction makes the most sense based on your background. So now, if you are serious about your UX career but confused about where you stand in this changing market, I conduct a UX career clarity session every week. So this is not a motivational webinar. It is not a sales presentation. I talk about the real timelines, the current UX job market, whether this path fits you. And I walk through real case studies. If you want to attend the career clarity session, the link is in the description. And if you prefer speaking directly, so talking to our team through WhatsApp, that link also in the description. So the team will support you with clarity. So no hype, no sales pressure, just honest direction. So subscribe if you want more content like this, honest data backed from someone who's been in the industry for 25 years and is watching the next 5 unfold in real time. I am Rambal. I will catch you soon with another meaningful topic. Until then, bye bye.